Good afternoon. Thank you for following me, and I hope that you keep following me, telling your friends to follow back. Today, I want to start by talking about how you might see things happening in your neighborhood, and then you have to compare how the things are happening to what is happening to other people. For instance, at some point I was scrolling through my social media, Twitter, and I saw someone commenting that once you see your friend talking about how they started or where they were before they got auctioned or before they got in trouble, and you find yourself in the same position, and the person is amazed and all things coincide. Is it a coincidence or things just happen from one time to another? So today I'm going to look on how the fall of KANU is the biggest Kenyan political party can equate or can relate with how ODM is gradually sliding into peace. So I will first give an history of how KANU was formed, how it became the dominant political party in Kenya, how other political parties came into play, and how they toppled the party after the death of Moi. Because it was until, not the death of Moi, it was until Moi came out of power that KANU as a political party started toppling. So let us look back, we go back into the independence time. After independence, Kenya had several political parties. It had KANU, it had KADU, it had KPU, I think. So when Kenya became independent and formed those parties, it did not go for a very long time until KANU swallowed all these other parties, and it became a de facto one political party for Kenya. It led from 1969 to 1981 as a de facto one political party, although they had not announced that they were one political party, but somehow Kenya had only one political party, and that was KANU. So KANU dominated in everything politically. When members were chosen under KANU. Any president that led Kenya, both Kenyatta and Moi, they were from KANU. And through that dominance, people could not imagine whether there could be other political parties. Now, since people are used to one political party, the parliament now put a law that now made KANU officially a political party. So after KANU was declared a political party by the parliament, it went from 1981 to 1990 when the people started rising against the one dominant party, that is one party state. The KANU is one party state. So they did not want Kenya to be led by only one party. They wanted Kenya to have several parties where people could fight, deviant political opinion could stand and say what they think. That's how several parties were born. That's when when you hear about multi-party system, that's when you come to start remembering how Raila Odinga came into political light. So because we are told he was the father of multi-party system. So among himself there were other people like Orengo, like Matiba were fighting alongside him to make Kenya a multi-party system. So after 1991, KANU was also dominant from 1991 to 2002 because it was still the time when Moi was ruling Kenya. Moi is the president of Kenya and the leader of political party KANU. He made KANU a very strong party, and also many members of parliament were chosen from KANU. So KANU was very dominant in the political arena at that moment. After Moi retired in 2002 and other political parties came into play, that's when political party KANU started deteriorating. You find that after 2002, KANU became very weak, and it also had competition from other dominant political parties. So when other political parties came into play, they threatened KANU's dominance. So after Moi came out of the limelight and now he retired, he left the party to Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta was the leader after Moi came out of the political party. So Uhuru led KANU for several years. Then when Uhuru formed his party URP, he left it for Moi. After Gideon Moi took over KANU, I think KANU has never had another leader, because Moi is still the leader of the KANU party up to date. So what made KANU topple from its leading position as a Kenya's political party or dominant political party? First, we would say KANU was a state-controlled party. What does that mean? That means when Jomo Kenyatta were presidents, they made KANU a national political party, and since they were the presidents of Kenya, they controlled it with state machinery. It's like they were protecting it as a child. They could not let another party come and strangle it out of power. They did not even give a chance to other parties to threaten its dominance. So as a state-owned party, it had a lot of power because it was financed, it was well-financed, and also you know how members of parliament or people get into power try to want to lean towards the party that is dominant. So people being afraid of what will happen if they opposed KANU or they opposed Moi or they opposed Kenyatta, they lean towards being called or getting tickets from KANU so that they can run for their seats in the parliament and other seats that were there at that moment. So that made KANU a very dominant political party. Again, KANU was very, 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 because of many people who knew how KANU was formed, and because of the KANU's popularity as the founding political party of Kenya, people respected it and they wanted to be associated with it because it was the first political party after Kenya gained independence. And that's how KANU controlled all the systems and how KANU controlled power in Kenya. After Moi now came out of power, how people started appointing leaders just to appoint any influential leader. There were no democracy, and you know what happens when people feel that their voices are not being heard. That is to say, when the democracy declines, people feel that they are being threatened, and when people feel threatened, they try to resist the power that is being used to control them. And during that moment, that's how KANU as a political party started deteriorating. When they lost democracy, when they could not choose leaders with popularity or the leaders who could lead KANU with the vibrancy that it had in the past, many people lost hope in it and they started looking for other places to go and find some hope. And since 1992, after the 1999, after multi-party system was introduced in Kenya, also people formed their own parties and they started competing with KANU. That's why you find things like for the Kenya, for the Asili. There are many political parties now which people could get tickets and run for political seats. And through that, they weakened KANU, and KANU did not control a lot of power. Also, there was a lot of tribal cards that were played. You find that if you are not from Kalenjin, or if you are not a very close friend of Gideon Moi, it is very hard to get higher seats in KANU. You must know Moi at a personal level for you to benefit from the tickets from KANU. I think that's how KANU fell. Now let's come back to ODM. ODM has been a very popular political party since it was born in 2005 when it was opposing the new constitution. So that's how ODM was born. But after fighting for constitution to be formed in 2007, ODM was now used by Raila as the vehicle to carry him towards the politics or towards the election of that time. And that's how ODM became a political party and Raila became the leader of ODM. So after 2007, ODM stamped its presence into the political systems. So after campaigning for or against the new constitution of Kenya in 2005, it came 2007 when now ODM became a political vehicle for Baba or for Raila. for him to run for the presidency in 2007. So in 2007, you would find people like Ruto, who are very ardent members of KANU. You would find people like Uhuru, though Uhuru did not finish the race with ODM into the elections. He jumped in October when elections were in December. But you find that ODM inherited a lot of KANU political orphans, all those who are rejected, or those who did not want now to be associated with the KANU because KANU was failing very fast at that moment. So that's how KANU deteriorated, and it stopped controlling all the masses. And you find that in 2007, ODM garnered a lot of votes from the members of parliament, even to the presidency, because at that moment, as we know, and with the clear history of Kenya, we know ODM had won, that Raila had won the presidency. If we look at how PNU at that moment rigged the elections, according now to the documentaries, you can go and watch the documentaries, and now the 2007 election were rigged, even leading to post-election violence. You can follow a lot, and if I get time, I'll talk about all those other issues. So ODM at that moment was a very strong party led by Raila Odinga. So when it continued growing. After now, Raila and Kibaki shook hands and they formed the coalition government. They led ODM became a dominant party at that moment, and that's how they passed a lot of laws. And they built Kenya at that moment, and Kenya became very prosperous because PNU together with ODM, with Raila Odinga and Kibaki leading Kenya with unison, and together it was very easy for them to pass laws and policies that made Kenya to prosper at that moment. So when it came to 2013, Uhuru came with his URP and Ruto now jumped from ODM and formed his own party. Now ODM came and they formed NASA with other political parties. Then Uhuru and Ruto, they combined efforts and became Jubilee. And that's how Jubilee won. But still ODM remains strong with a lot of people from almost all over Kenya, with a lot of political leaders across Kenya wide using ODM and got the seat. And even 2007, the same ODM was very strong and it competed very well with the Jubilee, was a dominant party. And again, when we look at 2022, ODM also was very unshaken, and they shook even Ruto, with Ruto even outcompeting Baba with at least 200,000 votes. You find when you look at the history of ODM, and ODM has grown to be a very dominant political party in the country, you find that the growth of ODM is highly linked to how Baba controlled everything, because it has been said that when Baba appointed anyone, even at the grassroots, people would always elect that person because that's been appointed by Baba. And so having Baba at the helm, or at the highest point of ODM, it made ODM very stable, and it gave a lot of political parties headache. Because when you look at the birth and death of Jubilee, from 2013 when Jubilee was formed, and this deterioration towards the 2022 election, it is the same. When the party becomes state controlled, because Jubilee, when Uhuru and Ruto became president, Jubilee was very strong because it was a state religion, it was a state political party. It controlled the systems, it controlled the state machinery, and with Uhuru as the president, many people aligned with him so that they can benefit from that position. But when now Uhuru finished his 2 terms, Jubilee died a natural death. So after the presidency of Uhuru, you find that the Jubilee has just been left in Mount Kenya. Very few people now cling to Jubilee, and that's how Jubilee now died from the political arena. So many people now cannot trust Jubilee as a political vehicle to ferry them toward now political seats. When you look at ODM, all that time since 2007, it has been a very strong political party, getting people into parliament, getting people even to be cabinet secretaries. When you look after post 2024, after 2024 revolt of the people when they wanted not to remove the government, but ODM now supported the current government to stabilize it and stop the government from falling. You find that ODM has been a very strong party. However, when you look at how it is going now after the death of Baba, immediately after the death of Baba, even we have not even gone 1 year after, ODM is not going in a very good direction. When you look at everyone in ODM, everyone is shaken, everyone now is asking questions, where are we going? Everyone wants to be a leader. And also, just as Kano did, they imposed a leader. Instead of choosing the democratic way of calling an NDC and choosing their political leader.
There is a storm in ODM, and that storm, people must come together. There must be an NDC that will ensure that storm is solved. That party should be handed over with an immediate effect, and you are looking at the party leader as we speak. Yes, we don't need to disrespect anybody, but it is our time. There's nothing wrong with Moses, but it is Joshua's time.
Yes.
That is it. So it is upon you to decide whether you want the weakest Joshua or the strongest Joshua. Whether you want a Joshua who is Moses' age mate, or older than Moses, or a Joshua who is younger than Moses. And that is what I can tell you. This is politics. We will play it as it comes because we are leaders who've been elected in this country. You saw the polls the other day, spoke very well. The polls stated clearly that Babu Owino should be the party leader at 33%, followed by my father, Honorable Dr. Oburu Odinga at 10%, followed by Gladys Wanga at 7%. And then the others shared 1%. So clearly, the people have spoken.
They just imposed Oburu Odinga, the youth leader, for him to be the political leader of ODM, without knowing that when people feel that their voices are not being heard, people start revolting, or people start standing against any organization that does not listen to them. So instead of them listening to the people and getting to understand what people are saying, they just imposed a leader on the people, and they moved on as if nothing has happened. But after since when they imposed Oburu Odinga as now the de facto leader of ODM, you find that it has caused a lot of struggles or wrangles upon the members, with some going into the opposition, others supporting the government, others just want to stand independent. They don't want to be associated with any part. And what is now now very openly, you find that the Raila Odinga family is like fighting the selection of Oburu Odinga as the political leader. You find that the Winnie Odinga, the Raila's daughter, is very outspoken against picking Oburu Odinga as the de facto leader of ODM. She wants an NDC to be called and the people to select a leader. Also, when you look at the Secretary General Sifuna and the newborn leader of the ODM Youth Link, Kasmuel, find that they are fighting a lot. Although I can understand Kasmuel is trying to fight his way up to become the Secretary General in the future for ODM. However, when you look the way they are doing everything, it is pronouncing death to ODM. It's like ODM now is dying a natural death, because nothing pronounces death in the political party than internal wrangles. You find that people are fighting a lot for a political party to outstand or to withstand any differences that come from outside. It becomes very easy, because any attack from outside can be revolted or can be stopped by people discussing amongst themselves and saying either ignore or re-attack the people back. However, when there is an infighting, when people fight among themselves as a political party, it becomes very easy for that political party to die. And that's how ODM now is becoming a very weak party, and I feel that come 2027, ODM will not have a lot of influence as it has been used to, because many people from ODM are fighting each other, and as much as they fight each other, they are weakening the party, and even the tickets will not sell as much as they did, and people are losing faith in that party, because when people are not together, the followers now start doubting whether the party is standing for the people or it is fighting for itself. So I hope you get something from that, and you understand from the fall of KANU, the fall of Jubilee, and you can see how ODM now is going, the direction is going. Now you can relate on how, when you see your neighbor's house burning, you should start watering yours, so that when the fire reaches your place, you'll find a very wet place, and maybe that water will put off the fire. Na Waswahili wanasemanga ukiona cha mwenzako chanyolewa, chako kitie maji, usipate kama hujatia chako maji na unyolewe kichwa bila maji. So for our ODM orphans, we pray that you guys are going to look into your fights, maybe resolve them, or you kill the party just like they killed KANU, the way they killed Jubilee. And we are going to give UDA a very free pass come 2027. Otherwise, I wish ODM all the best, and the people of Kenya. As we select our leaders, let us look at the quality of leaders, and not always associate leaders with political parties, so that now we can get quality leaders. Have a great week ahead.